Bobby, thanks for joining today. This is great. Relativity Fest is upon us, a lot of activity, so appreciate you taking time out of your day. Have a good chat here at Relativity. I did want to congratulate you first and foremost on your goal partnership that PLUSnxt has just achieved, so congrats on that.
Thank you. I actually did very little to help us achieve the goal partnership. Been with the company for 5.5 months, but a lot of good work from our entire team, from our CEO Tony and Gary, our COO, and Jeff, our CFO, and Chris, and all the members of the organization. They've really built something great. Happy to be a part of it. My goal now is to help us scale the organization. Obviously, with our partnership with Relativity, doing a lot of very unique, different things. I have one thing that is a little bit unique in that this is my first RelFest, actually.
Oh, awesome.
Been in the industry for 17 years now.
Okay.
But this is actually the first time I was able to get out here at RelFest. For the first 8.5 years of my career was practicing litigator in New York. No time then, obviously, to get out here.
Sure.
And then, prior to my time at Plus, spent 8 years at another legal services provider, but was never able to get out here. So very excited to be here.
Cool.
Yeah.
You mentioned the word scale, and I'm just curious because that's something that we think about as we're building our products, right? Like data continues to explode, and it's not just data; it's different types of data. It comes from different places, different sources, different makeup. How do you guys think about what does the next year, 3 years look like in terms of like what you need to support, or how you're thinking about some of this differently?
Yeah, so I think it starts with our relationship with Relativity, right? I think our relationship at Plus with Relativity is unique in the sense that we're 100% invested in RelOne. We're not trying to be everything to everybody at one time. Our goal is to be fanatically focused on executing for our clients.
Sure.
So our partnership is very important in that sense as we look out to the future. Our tech team is fanatically focused on trying to figure out different ways of handling the data that's out there and that our clients are seeing. What I think is cool about where we're at as an organization is, we're really focused on, solving our clients' needs. We're not a publicly traded company with, billions and billions of dollars of revenue where you have to kind of put clients into a box.
Yeah.
Our goal is really to solve our particular clients' problems, and that allows us to, create those solutions for them. And so that's how we're looking, as we look out to the future, understanding what their data looks like. When you think about it from, a corporate client perspective, the business is always going to, be what the business is, and they're not thinking about the e-discovery aspect of, their, how they're communicating, the data they're, creating. It's our job on the back end to really, solve those problems when they do arise in the e-discovery space. So working with our clients, working with Relativity, communicating to see what some of the pain points our clients are having, and then working together to create those solutions.
It's great. It's sort of the same way that we think about when we build new products, right? What is the problem that the customer is facing, right? Is it around data volume? Is it around the type of data? Is it around different parts of the stack, being able to process it, being able to review it, being able to analyze it? So it's really good to hear that you guys have sort of that same viewpoint of what pain is my customer facing right now, and how can we come in and solve them? Because I think we're coming from the same angle, right? Like we want to be able to provide solutions that make it easier to get through massive amounts of varied data that people are seeing day in and day out right now.
Yeah, and just like we need to be eyes and ears for our clients
Sure.
and what's in their data, we have to kind of be eyes and ears for Relativity too, so they can understand kind of those pain points. They're not necessarily on the ground every day working with the clients in terms of the where the data, like what types of data we're seeing, how that data can be collected, eventually reviewed for large scale litigation a lot of times. So we have to be able to communicate in real time to Relativity so that we can come up with those solutions that are going to be important 6-12 months from now. That's really where we're focused.
I'm curious, is there anything that you're hearing from your customers in terms of like what's really getting them excited to sort of ease some of those challenges, ease some of the pain that they're seeing in their day-to-day?
Obviously, the generative AI craze is the generative AI craze, and Relativity Air have been on, a number of demos and the different use cases with the Relativity team. We are super excited about how we're going to leverage that in our workflows.
Awesome.
I think our clients are super excited about thinking about 3-5 years out, how that's going to affect, their data and how they go about handling their e-discovery problems. I think for us, it's going to be important to try to figure out, preemptively how we can use the AI solutions that are in our toolbox to make things more efficient for our clients. Mm-hmm. We don't expect our clients to be the experts in these AI tools. It's our job to be the experts.
Sure.
Being the eyes and ears for them when it comes to the different AI tools that are available now in RelOne. For us, we took the strategic bet as an organization 6 years ago to be 100% invested in Relativity because we do feel like it's the best technology that's out there.
Yeah.
I've been a consumer of Relativity products for almost 2 decades, right? Going back to when I was practicing. Now it's about understanding the technology, being experts in the technology, and doing everything we can to solve our clients' problems in the most efficient way possible.
It's interesting when you mention RelativityOne because I think it does afford us a ton of capabilities that we didn't have in the past in terms of being able to interact with billions of data points. I'm thinking on the short message front, like we're doing a ton of architectural changes, infrastructure changes to be able to say, give me billions of messages that span a huge time frame and be able, let me go in and search for something that happened at a very specific point in time on a specific channel in Slack between specific people and really being able to hone in on that so you can get those answers a lot quicker. And that's something that, other platforms that aren't cloud-based, they really don't allow us to do that. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to not only solve customers, pains and challenges, but really be able to innovate in ways that we haven't in the past with that infrastructure.
Yeah, and we recently with one of our clients, in conjunction with Relativity, we had a couple terabytes of data, Slack data, and trying to figure out how to convert that from JSON files into Relativity short message form that makes sense and that is easily digestible and eventually can be reviewed in an efficient way. Can't do that with other platforms. Can't do that without the support of having that direct line into Relativity, but then also with our experts on the back end being able to someone like me on the front end that can understand the problem, don't have the solutions a lot of the times from a tech perspective.
Sure.
But my idea is my job is to message how we can solve the problems, but the really smart people on the back end doing it in conjunction with Relativity, solving clients' needs like that.
We talked about like collect and all this data and transforming it from JSON to another format, but how important is sort of the bread and butter just reviewability of that for somebody? Because I feel like we're doing all this work, but then at the end of the day, somebody has to go through and look at it and make sense of all of it.
Yeah, and so my subject matter expertise really is in the managed review space. Cool. When you're doing managed review, large-scale managed review, whether it's for a second request or a large litigation or a regulatory investigation, it's really important to understand the data on the front end to see how you can do things as efficiently as possible, whether it's prioritizing data or excluding data from the review wholesale. You have to be able to pull the right technology levers. It's also one of the reasons why I think we're like perfectly positioned in the sense that being fully invested in RelativityOne, we understand all of the RelativityOne technology levers, and then we can pull those levers as needed when we get into the review stage, whether that's going through Relativity Review Center, leveraging continuous active learning.
Totally.
Now starting to see the benefits of AIR. How we can integrate that into our workflows to be more efficient, faster for our clients, hitting those deadlines, being more cost effective. Whether it's using conceptual clustering on the front end, search, intelligent searching, like all of those things that really we were able to pull those levers because of our expertise in RelOne. Having that all be very helpful when we're getting into the review phase.
Yeah, as you go through it, it's like, well, we do have a lot of levers, a lot of tools in the toolkit that you could use.
Yeah, I mean, I just started to go through the kind of the workflow in my mind of where we start versus where we finish, and when you think about trying to be efficient and effective for clients, it really starts at the beginning. What you're doing, like you said, from Relativity Collect, there's nothing faster. I think that is a real game changer in RelOne is just Relativity Collect in the sense of how quickly you can collect data and get it into a workspace, and then taking it through the ECA workspace, and then really doing a lot of your early case assessment, using some of the analytical tools at that point to cull down the data before it even gets into a review space, and then using AI technology once you get into the review workspace. To make the review as efficient as possible, get rid of data that can be excluded, in the front end, like doing all those things. It starts at the beginning, cutting out the data as early as possible because that's going to make it, be as efficient as possible as you get towards the end. But the whole workflow really driving that, efficiency.
We talked a lot about like the different tools that are in the toolkit and massive amounts of information and how do you sort of make sense of all of it. Do you have a good sort of customer success story that you're able to share in terms of like how you've maybe used these in concert with each other or but how you were able to really like get them the answers that they needed really quickly?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we really have at Plus is an end-to-end solution, right? And RelativityOne allows us the part of that solution, which is the technology, and then now we have a global managed review service line that sits on our RelOne offering, and that really allows us to service our clients from beginning to end. So we've had one of our corporate clients where we're obviously have all their data on RelOne, but in pulling all those technology levers, but actually using a a review workflow that integrates both India review and US review, pulling the appropriate technology levers, using continuous active learning, really trying to triangulate everything that we can do to make things as efficient as possible. I think that's where the marketplace is going. Being able to continue to leverage the technology that's out there. Relativity is going to keep coming up with new solutions, technology solutions. It's air today. It'll be something different maybe 3 years from now.
Sure.
But being able to really hone in on those technology solutions and then layer in the review services that we have in a global manner with process rigor, I think is where the market will be.
I'd say one thing from a relativity perspective is trying to think much more holistic as opposed to individual products, but how these products work together from a workflow perspective. And just hearing you say that, like, we're looking at it holistically, we're looking at it across the stack, is the way that we're trying to think about product development, right?
Yeah.
If I collect it, I hand it off to processing, I hand it off to somebody else, I hand it off to review. How do we make sure that process is seamless? And to the end customer, they don't know that there's multiple different products being used at the same point. They're trying to get to an end goal as quickly and as efficiently as possible. And I think that's a really important way to think about it. And it's good to hear that you guys think about it the same way, or at least similarly.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I'm curious to get your thoughts on this. Like with Relativity Air, I think what's cool about it is it's not going to just be for one thing, right? You're going to be able to use it for many different use cases, whether it's reviewing for production or privilege, or maybe in the future for dealing with data privacy issues. What you can do with Relativity Air is going to be continually expanding. What do you see maybe in the future, 2025, of like 2026, 2027, of like, is it going to be an expansion of Relativity Air? Could it be something else? Where do you see the marketplace going for Relativity?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunities for us within the broader Air suite, not only with what we have today, but also to your point, like what comes in the future. But I would say in the near term, it's how do we get these products to work together? How do we get Air for Priv to work with Air for Review to work with Air for Priv, with our newest product, Air for Case Strategy? So you've gone through, you've done a responsive review, you've done your Priv screen, now you're able to go to Case Strategy and start building out your timelines and your deposition prep, and really trying to elongate the possibilities in terms of what customers can do with these solutions. I think you'll see more and more of that, is how do we really think about this much broader, as opposed to here's a point in time solution, here's multiple solutions that work together to get you from the minute data's been collected to the minute you're maybe going to a deposition, and being able to use those tools to really get from point A to point B a lot quicker than you would in the past.
And do you see it being less of a linear approach with Rel Air? Because like right now, like you said, I mean, I'm starting to utilize it, on cases, having done a lot of the demoing and work in the sandbox. It's more of like a linear process right now, right? Rel Air for review, Rel Air for privilege, Rel Air for case strategies, but it's kind of in a linear pattern. Is it going to be something where you can kind of maybe do all of that at one time, in like an integrated approach, or do you see that being a possibility?
I definitely see us going that direction. I would say our customers are asking us to go in that direction, right? Like the case strategy is a good example. Is my strategy doesn't start when I'm done with review. My case strategy starts when I get the complaint, right? Like
it's evolving over time.
Exactly,
right?
Exactly. So I think we're trying to put ourselves more in the shoes of our customers and not think so straight line, and really try to think about how do we interject these tools throughout a whole process to really mine the value from them. So I definitely see us going more in that direction in the future.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, Jim, I appreciate your insights and sharing some of those insights with us today.
Yeah.
Super excited to be here at my first RelFest. I'm sure I'm going to see you around over the coming days, and very excited about what the future holds for PLUSnxt. In conjunction with our unique relationship with Relativity, hoping to build on that in 2025, and a lot of good things to look forward to.
Thank you for coming in, and really excited about our partnership. Thank you,
man.
Bobby. Take care.